Victor Hovland and Bryson DeChambeau seem to draft off one another all day long. They were both on fire.
It was very similar, very reminiscent to what we saw out of Shane Lowry and Justin Rose the previous day on Saturday. For Victor Hovland, it's birdies at 5, 6, 7, which really get him in the mix after a little bit of a slow start, unable to capitalize on some birdies. And you're thinking, okay, maybe he's lagging a little bit behind. And all of a sudden he gets himself right back in the mix. And around that point, he really found his golf swing. He hit some pulls early. He seemed to get that straightened out, and he was just going right at every single flag. It was vintage, especially on the back nine. Like the shot into number 12, right of that right hole location, was just ridiculous. And that was vintage Victor Hovland, which was just great to see again.
Yeah, Mark, what I saw was a lot of confidence, a lot of the ability to take on shots that he might not have been comfortable with to start 2024 after coming off one of the best seasons we've seen from him.
Yeah, certainly. I was lucky to call the two of them on Saturday afternoon, and a couple of things jumped out. First off, Bryson's power it's a separator. Look, Rory's powerful off the tee, but Bryson's power is just different. And he sort of cruises to the tune of about 330 yards, where Rory, that's him not kind of full speed, but it's 90% or so. When Bryson decides to hit one, he's got a little something extra. So on a soft golf course like this, that's a weapon. I felt like on Saturday, he actually didn't play very well for 5 or 6 under or whatever he shot, because I thought the wedge game was kind of substandard given where he'd driven the ball. And he didn't hold out very well either. And so in the team meeting this morning, I was like, if he just makes any number of putts inside of 10 feet and is okay with the wedges, he's going to be a factor. And it's amazing to me, and you were out there, Rick, kind of the crowds were in behind this guy because he is a fascinating and entertaining watch. And as soon as he gets going and the crowds get behind him, then that lifts a very emotional guy anyway. And then as it pertains to Victor, I mean, I referenced it earlier when you were offline for a bit. That move back to Joe Mayo has been a stroke of genius, if you will. And if I'm Joe Mayo, I'm like, dude, just send a check over this way right now because what they did was magnificent. When I watched the warm-up Saturday, he was hitting a selection of balls, and he was hitting 3-irons. They were like frozen ropes, man. And I sort of looked at him, and I smiled, and he smiled, and I looked at Shane Knight, his caddy, and I'm like, the ball's not bending very much. And he goes, no, not at all. Everything was flying very straight, perhaps wanting to drip to the right-hand side, but there were very few left misses. Now, I did see, I had the group in front of them, behind them, I should say. There were 1 or 2 left misses with irons today, but at least it wasn't a two-sided thing. So he had something that he could play. And as far as Victor is now concerned, I'm like, you can just throw these last few months where he was kind of missing in the wilderness, if you will, you can throw them out the window because now this is a new Victor. And this guy looked for real today, and he looked like he had a real shot to win this tournament after being MIA for about 2 months.
Yeah, there was a long time, Patrick, as we were walking with this group. We walked a lot with this group on the second night. It felt like the winner was going to come out of this group. The couple of big moments here. Let's focus on Bryson. Bryson makes birdie on 10. He makes birdie on 13, and then he yanks one left on 16. And I don't know how much this came across on the broadcast. This thing was 40 yards left. It was gonzo, smacks a tree hard, loud, kicks right back out in the fairway, and the golf gods allow him to hit one to like 3 feet, and he knocks it in for birdie. A gigantic break there.
Yeah, that shot, 230, 8-iron, chirping at it, kind of awkward club twirl. 3 feet was awesome. It was awesome. And I know the crowd out there was cheering for Bryson DeChambeau to win. And we talked last night about how he feeds off the crowd, right? He's the ultimate showman. But I think he also feeds off having the chance to hit driver as well. And he was handcuffed a couple times, right? There's certain holes out there at Valhalla where he just can't hit driver. Even on Thursday, He did hit driver on number 12. He went down below, carried it over the fairway, learned his lesson, obviously. But you saw that all his best approach shots came following a driver, because there are some really sloppy iron shots intertwined in there. 12 was not a good shot. He hit one deep. He was flaring that fairway wood, whatever it is, a 3 or 5 wood. I think he has them both. He was flaring that out to the right all day long. And what was it, on 15? He had a great bunker shot there to get up and down. His short game was unbelievable today. Even into the par 3 14th, he got up and down there too. And so I think just being able to hit driver for him gave him so much more like confidence and adrenaline combined with the crowd and everything. And the one on 16 was awesome, just to step onto that. And then obviously we know what happened on 18 to drip that one over the edge, which was a brilliant second shot, by the way, from that fairway bunker.
Yeah, a couple of quick observations about the clubs, because I talked to him Saturday about them. And he said, no, these irons, this is just the first iteration. He goes, they're coming out better, and we're working on making them more reliable. Now, look, we all know that his 8 iron is it's almost a 6 iron in the amount of degrees and the loft it has on the face. So everything is beefed up, but that almost allows him to play a bit more offense with those irons. And then the 3 wood and the 5 wood he has, where everything else he hits is kind of this tumbly draw. Those are real spinny, and they climb up in the air to me, which is strange as well. So as far as he is going and him always tinkering with equipment, I feel like there is some more advance that he can do with the irons and certainly those 2 fairway metals. And just to that bounce, I don't know what you guys thought, but when I saw the footage of it on replay, this to me smacked of Tiger Woods back in the playoff against Bob Millman years ago. We drilled it way left, and the next thing the ball's running down the cart path into play. It was almost eerie how that thing came out of the trees like it did.
The rumor was that Patrick had knocked it back out. Was atop the trees, and
that's why I was wondering. Eddie's boys out there, his Ripper boys that were helping out.
Yeah, Ripper, Crusher, the whole lot.
I was impressed very much this week, Greg, with Bryson DeChambeau. He is someone that I thought was going to play pretty well at Augusta National, and I think that this is certainly a better setup for him. PGA Championships and U.S. Opens, and even the creativity. His ability to get up and down green side on 18. We were right there. It was a downhill lie. It wasn't great. He gave himself a birdie look, and then he pours it in, which essentially not only forces the hand of Xander, knowing that 20 under is now in, but it forces the hand of Victor Hovland, and how Hovland's putt is, he has to make it to at least get into a playoff.
Right, and I think the pressure may have gotten to Victor a little bit there. It didn't look like he hit his best putt. But Rick, I think what you bring up with Bryson's short game is right on point. I mean, look at some of these numbers for the week. They're kind of staggering. He gains five strokes around the green. He's 18 of 20 scrambling, 6 of 6 from the bunker. These are kind of the issues that cost him a chance to win the Masters, right? It was all short game and all putting. And this week, that area was significantly improved, especially with the wedge play. Perhaps there's something to the wedge play being out of the rough. Perhaps there's an advantage for him there, as he did win at Winged Foot, which also has greens surrounded by thick rough rather than runoff areas. So that's just a food for thought, heading into the future. But boy, this was a really impressive performance with him, and the drives were ridiculous. Like being able to take 1 and 2 and cut the corner on those holes. You can't really cut the corner. He did. That was a big separator. But I think the short game is still the thing that stood out most to me.
Can we just also identify the fact, or at least respect the fact, that Bryson has certainly changed his sort of relationship with the fans and his attitude to the fans and the media too, because he's engaging now and he's pumping it up, and it's almost like he's playing to the crowds, where previously he almost had an adversarial relationship with competition and with media and such, and he was sort of misunderstood. No, he just belongs on a stage, man. And the stage today was almost made for him, and it almost turned out very well too.
He's a content creator.
Yeah, true.
You know, at heart, honestly, I thought he was treating it like after an NFL player scored a touchdown and they look for the camera and they do their celebrations. That was literally Bryson DeChambeau this weekend on 18 yesterday. He turns to the camera, goes, "Let's go, let's go." I thought it was going to be like swipe up, subscribe, comment below what you guys want to see.
Smash the like button.
So I will have to go back and look, but when he made the birdie putt on 16 after hitting the tree, he looked back and he either blew the tree a kiss, or he bowed to it. I couldn't tell which one that he did, but he did something like that as well. It's next level.
He's awesome. He is awesome.
I will also say I think he's just now much more comfortable in his own skin. I think he's I think before he was kind of a different type of guy and he would get crap for that. I think he doesn't care what other people think anymore. And behind Scotty Scheffler, I think he was probably the second most popular golfer here this week.
Can we also admit that he looks way better in a baseball cap than that stupid other thing he used to wear?
No.
Yeah.
I loved the Hogan cap.
No.
Come on.
No, the Crusher cap is actually pretty cool.
And the old logo of him in a Hogan cap. I missed that.
Hoganception. The other thing is he looks much better now that he's fit instead of fat. I'll just say it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's not puffy.
Yeah, he's not puffy anymore. Greg, we'll put a bow on Victor Hovland here. So he made his last birdie on 13. And if I remember correctly, he had birdie putts on 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. The one on 17 was probably the one that he really needed. I think it was inside of 8 feet. The putter did go cold on him at the end. Then he misses the birdie putt on 18. And then once the result of the championship is over, he, misses a shorty for par there. So it's a pretty ugly finish.
17 was 9 feet 8 inches. He did have a good look at 16 too. I mean, geez, he had a great shot in there. After Bryson stuffed it, he hit it right over the flag. Granted, it was 25 feet long, so you don't give him too much slack for missing it, but he had 17 feet at 15 as well. He was dialed in with his approach play, and he just needed what happened earlier in the round. He putted really well earlier in the round, and all of a sudden it went ice cold at the wrong time. And what's such a killer is you need, if he just gets one of those at 15, 16, or 17, he goes to 18 with a totally new perspective. And I kind of thought that was going to happen, and it just unfortunately didn't for him. But all in all, considering where Victor has come from, I do believe this is a huge win for him this week.